Hello everyone, the Kentucky Patriot here. We're out on the range today with my buddy. Really hot, so he's just kind of chilling with us today. But we're out on the range and we're going to try to do a 22 LR video. And it's going to be geared more toward EDC. Of course, it also may do a little bit toward home defense too, but we're just going to test some 22 LR rounds. I'm not encouraging to use them or not use them for home defense or EDC, but there is a lot of myths out there. You want your belly rubbed? There is a lot of myths out there about the 22 LR, what they're capable of, what they're not capable of. So I'm just going to try my best to demonstrate today some rounds that you probably have or heard of, or just try different types of 22 LR rounds. And I'm going to set up a meat target like Paul Harrell does. And what we're going to do is I've got 2 layers of t-shirt. So it's a t-shirt, but it's front and back. So I've got 2 layers of t-shirt, beef ribs, a water jug, and then more beef ribs on the back. And we're going to test different rounds and see what they're capable of. But I think it's really important to note that on 22 LR, you really need to test, if you're using it especially for home defense or self-defense, EDC, whatever, really need to test the rounds that you're going to use just because they're a hollow point, you may or may not get an expansion out of your gun. Like I said, it's a pistol. Rifles usually has enough extra velocity to increase the threshold of the velocity, because it's a tight margin there. If you get expansion or not, and a lot of times a shorter barrel like out of a pistol won't go over the threshold of the velocity needed to expand the bullet. So even though you may be carrying a hollow point, if you're using the pistol, doesn't mean necessarily that you're going to get expansion. So you always want to test out your rounds. So that's what we're going to do today. Me and Bullet here, the Wonder Dog, and going to try some 22 LR meat target. Let's see some results. And I had more 22 rounds at the house. I've got plenty different rounds, but I'm just trying to think of what you probably have, what you're probably using. I'm just going to try to just shoot, various rounds, different makes and models, but I can't get to everything. So I know somebody's going to say, well, you should have shot this or should have shot this. So I don't know. Hopefully I'll get to one that you like or have or interested in. But first up, you probably got one of these or something like this, Remington, bucket of bullets, Golden Bullet. These are good. It says for, now this, according to this is 1,400 feet per second high velocity long rifle cartridge, and these are indeed hollow points. Tells you all about them. These are for, I think it's 32 grain is what I seen on here earlier. It's 36 grain, I'm sorry, 36 grain. So this is probably something that you have or you're familiar with. So we're going to try this out of and the test barrel on the gun today is going to be my M&P 22 compact, and I might actually go ahead and show you one of these bullets. I'm sure that you've seen these, and they are in fact a hollow point. I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but 22 LR from Remington, hollow point, Golden Bullet. Let's see if the Golden Bullet will get the job done against this meat target. I'm just, I don't know the exact feet. I didn't measure, but this is probably typical home defense range. It might be a little bit farther or closer than some of you may prefer, but I think this will give us a pretty good test distance. Anyway, 22 Remington Golden Bullet, M&P 22 compact, meat target. Let's see what happens. You can see right here is where we hit t-shirt. You can zoom up here. You see the meat, the water jug. Now, it's going to be kind of messy, but we're going to take this apart and see if we can't recover a bullet, which we're leaking out the back, so I don't know if we'll be able to, but I'll dig in here and I'll bring you the results. This is the entry point. It hit the jug right here. As you can obviously see, it went through the ribs, clean hole. Out the back here, check this out, clean hole. So there's absolutely no expansion. So that's what I was trying to explain. I kind of mince my words a lot of time and mix, but what I'm trying to say is just because you have a hollow point, if you don't have enough speed, when it hits the target, it acts like a full metal jacket. It doesn't expand. You have to have so much velocity to get it to the speed where it'll actually begin to expand and mushroom out on you, okay? But like I said, that bullet did not in this pistol. Others may, I don't know, but usually, to be honest with you, in my experience, pistols, they will not expand. So you're going to have basically a full metal jacket, even if you're using a hollow point. Now, when you step it up to the rifle, longer barrel, then that's when you begin to get some expansion, and it makes a world of difference. Just that little bit of speed, a couple hundred feet a second, can make a big difference in the velocity of whether it will or will not expand, if that makes sense. So in the back of the ribs here, this is the back of the ribs. There's a hole right here in the plastic, and there's a hole right here in the ribs. I don't see it coming out on the outside, so I'm gonna check these ribs and see if I can't find the projectile, and if I can, I'll show it to you. Up next, we got a round I'm sure you're familiar with. It's the CCI 22 LR. Again, these are hollow points, copper plated, 36 grain, 1,260 feet per second. Like I said, 36 grain, and these are as well hollow points. CCI is a really good brand, so let's try them out on Meat Target and let's see the results. CCI Mini Mag, let's see how she performs. CCI Mini Mag, very popular round. Let's see here, shot placement. Very accurate little rounds. Of course, I was shooting really close, but they're very popular, very good rounds. I like to shoot them a lot. Now as we dive in here, there is a hole in the back. As you can see, water pouring out, and it looks like we may, I can't tell if I can find the bullet. This is the rib on the back. Looks like we may have had a little bit of expansion. Doesn't look like it coming out of here, but when it hit here, it could have expanded a little bit. It's so hard to tell without being able to, here's the first round we shot. Here's the Mini Mag. Looks like the Mini Mag did do a little better than the Golden Bullet. We were able to actually use this jug twice because the first round was up here, and as long as we wrapped it up, it still had plenty of water in it. So you see the first hole, the second hole, but really still not a whole lot of difference. It looks like it just didn't even penetrate the ribs on the back at all. So I will look here and see if I can find this bullet and recover it if I can. And if I do, I will certainly be glad to bring you results, because it did look like it may have expanded a little bit, hit this and bounced off, so hopefully we'll find it here. So we'll look off camera and we'll let you know if we find it. This may be a little more of a specialty round, but these are Norma USA TAC 22 long rifle. They say high performance target, so they are advertised as a target round. Sorry, I'm gonna pick my buddy here. He's wanting some attention. This one's it's a 40 grain leaden round nose. It says right on it, 40 grain lead round nose. Now this target velocity is advertised at 1,100 feet per second. So let's try a little heavier bullet that's 40 grains with a round nose this time instead of a hollow point, and let's check out the results and see what we can find out. Whatever rounds you're testing, of course these are the Norma rounds I just showed you, but whatever, you know, you need to test your rounds is what I'm saying in your gun. So make sure your gun, it runs okay, it feeds okay. So whatever, it doesn't matter the caliber, 22 LR, 40, 357 SIG, 45, 9mm, always run ammo that you're gonna carry through your gun. And I know a lot of times you're carrying defense ammo, it's a little more expensive, but it's worth it when your life depends on it. So whatever the case may be, run your ammo, test it yourself, make sure it does okay in your gun, and let's try it. Let's see what happens here. Now, it's funny that I said test your rounds, because look at here, and I'll ask my wife off camera, but as far as I know, this is the first failure I have ever had or ever remember having with this pistol. It could be a coincidence, it could be this ammo, and that's okay. Sometimes it's not the ammo, sometimes it's not the manufacturer, sometimes just certain ammo doesn't want to run in certain guns. So I don't want to rest my hat upon this, but this is a catastrophic failure. If your life depends on that's your first round, you're gonna have to tap and rack, and you can see the gun is clear, but I did have a malfunction there. So like I said, I'm not saying it's the rounds, I'm not saying it's the gun. I'm just telling you the first, and I think it's the first time I've ever shot those Norma rounds. I've never fired one before as far as I know. But anyway, so I don't hang my hat on the test of, you know, one shot, but you did see, I'm sure you probably caught it on camera too, but there was a failure to eject, and I just wanted to show you that. As you can see here, caught just a little bit of the tape and then the t-shirt. And I do see some air bubbles kind of coming up every now and then in the jug, so it does look like there's a hole. So we're going to dissect it here a little bit, and let me see, I do not, yes, maybe I do. I can't tell if this was this one or the last one, but there is an exit point right here. So we're using the same t-shirt. So let's examine. We'll do a little autopsy here, see what we can find. Okay, here's the ribs going in. You can see all three of my shots here in the meat target here. Really the only one that could make a significant difference coming through the front was the CCI, and I can't tell if this is the front or back now. I think this is the front on all three targets. I tried to keep it straight, and I believe I did, because this is the one earlier. Remember, the CCI did look like it expanded. We was unable to find the bullet, the projectile, for sure. I'm gonna go through it again before we leave the range today. But it does look like the CCI could have possibly had some expansion. It does not look like the other two did not, because these are the ribs on the back. And it did make it through the first set of ribs and the water jug, and all three of them did make it to the ribs on the back. And one did pass through, and it was not the CCI. So we got one that passed through, one that looks like it expanded a little bit. We'll set this up again and try another round. And like I said, I can't get to all the rounds today that I'm sure you have or want to see tested. We were just kind of coming out here and make a video. If you want to see more, maybe somebody can send me a specialty ammo they want me to test, or if I can find it, I'll get it myself. Or I have different kinds at the house too. Like I said, I just can't test them all today. It's literally in the 90s, very humid out here. But anyway, I was trying to test what you probably have, what you found on the shelves, what you're familiar with. And here's Winchester, brand I know you're familiar with. This is 36 grain, advertised velocity, 1,280 feet a second. And these again are hollow points. And it just seems like when you want something for defense, whether they expand or not, people just normally just kind of lean toward hollow points. So I did test more hollow points than I did round nose, of course, today. This thing will make the fourth test we're going to try. But anyway, Winchester, 36 grain, copper plated, hollow point, advertised velocity of 1,280. And you can't always go by the box. If you have your own chronograph, you'll know that sometimes it can vary, like I said. And 1,200 and all these velocities I'm giving you are advertised velocity that I am 100% certain were tested out of a rifle. I doubt any of them was tested out of a pistol. A lot of times, people think, well, it's going this speed, this should be past the expansion threshold. But again, you're not going to get these velocities out of a shorter barrel like what I'm using today for a pistol if you're using for EDC. Now, home defense may test it another day with rifle, barrels to see if the results change. But for today, so far, you've seen the results. We're going to check out this Winchester. Let's find out what happens. Here we go, Winchester. Meat target. See how it does. Another shot on the tape. That's thin tape. I don't think it's going to affect the results much. 2 layers of t-shirt again. And these ribs, I don't know if you can catch it. These are thick ribs. I mean, these are legitimate ribs. They are thawed out, and you can obviously see water leaking. I do not see exit, so hopefully we recovered a bullet. I'd really like to recover one of these bullets. So far I haven't been able to. Like I said, I'm gonna move this table and go through here when we get done, but we'll do a little bit of dissecting here and see what we can come up with. We'll take this tape off here. And let's see. There is the entrances of all 4 rounds. Here's the water jug leaking on us. Now I don't know how that's working, because this was right here, unless it went over the top some way, but I do not see. Oh, must have been a little bit lower, because I do see 4. So there is 4 holes. And I want to see 1 exit, so I may try to dissect this meat here a little bit and see if I can't recover a bullet or 2. But the way this is, you can see that hole there, absolutely no expansion. So basically none expanded. There is some debatability here on maybe the CCI, maybe this one expanded a little bit. They do look a little bigger than this hole, so there could be some expansion there. It's just so hard to tell. I was really wanting to recover some bullets. Like I said, this rib is broke here, so when that hit that, it probably bounced off somewhere. So I'm hoping to really, because you can see that meat, that bone's cracked there, so I'm really hoping to discover some bullets. So we're gonna go through this, and if we can find one, we'll sure show it to you. CCI, Winchester, Norma, Golden Boy. These were the results in the meat target on the back. all the entry points was about the same. This is the exit. Super excited. I can't wait to show you this. I'll be honest with you, I had in mind what I knew was going to happen today, and I am shocked at this result. I guess what happened is because there is 4 holes in the back of the ribs, as I've showed you, but when we was taking it all apart, I went to pour the water out, what was left, and I thought I heard something. I went to, it rattled, and I poured this out in my hand, and I want you to look at this. This is the Winchester. Now, I'm not saying all results will be like this, but I mean, to me, that is a game changer, because I'm going to be honest with you. I think I might have mentioned this before in other videos, and even this one. You typically don't get hollow point expansion like this out of a pistol. So I'm not endorsed by Winchester. Winchester didn't ask me to do this test. I've got a small channel, but that expansion is fantastic. So like I said, this is just 4 shots, 4 different rounds. You don't want to hang your hat and rest all your, put all your money on the bank on one bullet, on one test. But if you can see that that expansion is absolutely fantastic. And after a little bit of further examination, I would say that's might have been possibly what happened to the CCI round is too, because if you see these small holes, they are a lot smaller than this one. I thought it was going to hit it and bounced off, as what happened with this one, because it did not go all the way through the water jug. It kind of just hit and come back into the water jug. But as you can see, if the size before and the size after, that's some fantastic expansion out of a pistol. So I'm absolutely thrilled with those results. I'm going to keep this. I keep bullets that I find and expand like that. So that's definitely, I mean, that's the size of a 9mm or better there. I don't have a mic to measure it, but that's a nice size expansion. I've got big fingers, big thumb, and you can see that performed great. Got some more interesting results for you. We was looking around, and guess what we found? This CCI, and lo and behold, it did expand. So, hey, I learn when you guys do. I don't pretend to be a know-it-all. I don't pretend to have all the answers. It's amazing how bullets perform, and how they, bullet technology and design, and how things begin to work. But typically, in experiences that I have had in times past, you can just about always guarantee results out of a rifle, a longer barrel, pistol. It just seemed like you couldn't get velocities high enough to expand. With the same round, you shoot the pistol, it doesn't expand. Shoot with the rifle, it expands. But in this case, let me tell you something. Bullet, that's why it's important to test bullets. That's important why to make sure they run in your gun, because, like I said, this is kind of odd expansion, because that's how, but this side still expanded. I mean, it flattened out, done really well. Kind of looks odd there, but the results are still good expansions for a 22 LR out of a pistol. So you've seen the results here, and like I said, we can't hang our hat on one test, one round, meat target. You could try different things like denim, but I do like, Paul Harrell's thoughts and, ideas of the meat target much more than ballistics gel. I love ballistics gel. It's very fun. If I had some, don't get me wrong, I'd love to test it, but I think this is more realistic when you start getting meat and bone and clothing and, that kind of thing. But like I said, you've seen it here. Expansion out of the CCI and expansion out of the Winchester. Now, the only hollow point I shot was the Remington Golden Bullet, and it did not expand. I shoot those a lot, great for target. I shoot them all the time, but they did not expand. But like I said, just one shot, one round. May do a test like this again. I'll conclude the video here in just 1 minute, but I did want to show you this. The reason I wanted to do this video, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to pretend that I wasn't surprised, because I was very shocked with the results of the video, the expansion. I mean, that's great news for people that want to carry a 22 LR. The reason really I want to make this video is because of the myths and all the things that I hear. And I don't think people's lying to you or trying to deceive you. I think somebody's said this to them, and they heard this, and they've heard it from more than one person, and they believe it to be true. So just because you hear something and believe it to be true doesn't make it true. But what I've heard a lot about the 22 LR is it's fantastic. You've probably heard this too, for EDC or home defense, because the bullet will get in there and ricochet around. I've heard that many times, like it'll penetrate, have enough velocity to penetrate in the rib cage, but not on this side, and then it kind of dances around and makes like a star shape and makes all this. That is simply not true. From my experience in real life and actual shootings, that is not true with the 22 LR. I'm not saying it doesn't vary. If it hits something, it, hit a rib and maybe, but it's not going to do a ping pong effect. And you seen it on the meat target today, none of that was the case. It just doesn't happen. So if you use a 22 LR or if you don't, that's up to you. But I just try to bring you results as honest as I can. So whatever firearm you choose, whatever ammo you choose, whatever caliber you choose, that you have to be realistic in the results that you are expecting. And people say, well, I'd never use a 22 LR. Well, here's the thing. You don't know what people's situation is. I mean, you got to understand a 22 LR is not going to have the results of a 12 gauge 1 ounce slug. It's just not. But you take somebody older that's maybe not got arthritis, maybe have a handicap, maybe, or maybe it's a single mom who's never had a firearm, but just now learning to shoot, and and maybe in time she'll move up, but just right now she's comfortable with 22 LR. You're a lot better off with a 22 LR than you are with nothing, okay? So like I said, I'm not telling you to carry one, I'm telling you not to carry one, but I'm telling you, as you've seen today, your ammo selection is very important with any firearm to make sure it runs and feeds, and also the results, especially when you're in smaller calibers. I mean, like when you get to 12 gauge, it doesn't matter if you're using number 4 buck or double aught buck or whatever, it's going to do the job for home defense. But when you start getting smaller calibers for your EDC or home defense, the choices you make are can be critical. So anyway, may God bless you. I don't know why he's showing you his backside instead of his face, but he's my buddy. Glad he's up here with us. Appreciate you watching. If you would you please like, share, and subscribe? I'd love to get over the 10,000 mark. It'd really mean a lot to him if you'd help us out. May God bless you. Wish you and yours the best. The Kentucky Patriot signing off.